Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim, and today I'm continuing my playthrough of Normandy 44. We are up to turn 11, which is June 16th. Historically on this date, the Duve River was reached, which is over here. So we're a bit behind schedule for that. And then also, I have no idea how to pronounce this, Saint-Sauveur-le-Vicomte Falls. It's an M, not an N, which is right here. So yeah, that's not going to be happening this turn. And actually, on the next day is when the peninsula was cut. So we're definitely not anywhere close to that. So we really need to get moving up here in the Cotentin Peninsula area. All right, but before we get into things here, there was a mistake I made toward the end of the last video with this advance that I made up here. These units, which I believe came from here, yeah, because we were attacking this position from here and here. They moved into this space, which is a Zoc bond, a Zoc hex bond, which they're not allowed to move into. Unless they were attacking a unit that was in there, then they could advance into that space. But they did not. So instead, I believe we just have them go here. So we got that corrected. And we can proceed. All right, let's consult our sequence of play here. First up is to determine the weather. So we'll roll a d6 for that. Allies are hoping for some clear skies because they got those storm turns coming up here in a few turns. Gonna really slow them down. There we go. 5. So that's going to be clear. So let's see what we'd get on a clear 5. The Germans are allowed 1 improved position. They get 1 supply point. I guess we'll give that to Cherbourg, since it can be used anywhere currently. We'll pull out an improved position marker. Reminder that they can do one of those. Let's see. They get 1 infantry replacement, but it's restricted. Must be used on a 0 or -1 TQ unit, or it's forfeited. So we'll keep that in mind. So let's move their infantry up by 1. We'll put it, let's see, upside down, I guess would be a -1. We'll put it sideways to show that it has to be a 0 or -1 to use that on. All right, the Americans get 1 of each. The British get, excuse me, just an infantry replacement. Then what else? All of our air units, which is excellent. Both naval units, which doesn't matter that much at this point in the game. And we do get our supply points. There's really only this area up in here that can still use the naval bombardment stuff. Let's get all these flipped over. Let's spin them around. See if we can do it this way. This will be better for flipping. All right. Then we have cockeyed there. Nothing to do for Mulberry construction. We did that, and then ready all in supply headquarters and Warford brigades. Were there any headquarters that moved? Warfords didn't get used last turn, it looks like. I don't think there were any headquarters that got flipped over for moving more than one hex. Been a minute since I played, so I don't remember for sure, but I don't think there were any. Okay, so that'll take us into the German player turn. So they get that one infantry replacement. Excuse me, has to go on a 0 or -1 unit. So let's see what they have available for that. Nothing over here. Nope. Well, there's a 0 that could take it. So we'll keep that in mind. I feel like I should be doing a better job of spreading these elite units out more. They're kind of wasted sitting in the same space. Let's see. Those are all full strength. That one's disrupted, so he couldn't take it anyway. Those are all full strength. As are those. Those are airborne anyway. They wouldn't be 0 or negative. Full strength. It's an elite. There's one underneath, but he's already full strength. That one's already full strength. Oh, there's one. Take him up to a 5. Might not be a bad spot. We'll keep that apart for now, so I remember he's there. These are all full strength. There's one here. It's a possibility. Probably up here. I think, yeah, this whole stack is disrupted, so they can't take any. But there's one there that we probably would like to. So it's getting kind of precarious up there. Sorry, that was off camera. I was talking about where we attacked there last turn. All right, so it looks like we got 3 options. Either this unit here, which will take him up to 4 strength. Got this one that would go up to 5. And then the one over here in the right outside of Con, that would go up to 4. Thinking since these guys are in a strong point, that's not as important. Might want to beef this up a little here in case the Allies try to break through down here. Yeah, let's do this one. And he gets a replacement marker of the stack. I think we're planning on initiating any combat there anyway, but just so we know. And put this back together. All right, that's our replacement spent. Oh, we did forget, I forgot to give my supply points to the allies. They get, I believe it's 2 each, since they both have their mulberries constructed. And we'll be able to potentially purchase more during the replacement phase. All right, now we go to German movement, followed by German combat. So we need to address this situation up here, because as it stands, the Allies can slip around through here now and get around us. So we need to close that off. I'm thinking we move something into these woods. That'll form a Zach bond with the coast there. Let's see what kind of movement restrictions there are for disrupted units. I don't recall. I don't know if they have to move away from enemy units if they move. Let's see. They must use tactical movement. They may not attack or be the lead unit. They cannot begin construction of an IP. Can't provide artillery shifts or defensive support, and they may not receive replacements. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any restrictions other than only being able to use tactical movement for their movement. So what else do we have here? We got that little tiny, was that armored cab, I think. A couple of bicycle units. If we move them into here, that cuts that off over there. Still leaves this open, but they still have to stop if they move into there. But kind of like to bond that up if we can. Problem is, what do we move into there? I mean, we could use strategic movement to get something to here. But they wouldn't be able to move into either of those spots. What do we have in here? It's a defending only. Yeah, not a lot. We don't really want to move anything out of there necessarily. We do have some beefy units down here. If we could, yeah, he could get up to there easily. Then we kind of need to backfill where he moves from. Oh, the other thing is, let's see, yeah, movement phase is when we'll get our reinforcements as well. So let's see what we got coming on. Didn't get any last turn. We got 3 units coming in this turn in the green area. A couple more bicycle units and another one of these defensive only anti-tank units. Oh, let's see. I mean, we got this one back here in reserve that we can definitely move up there. Don't really want to move any of these out. I think if we got this guy and that guy here, actually they may even be able to move into one of these spots. Prevent them from getting at least limit the number of sides that they can attack us from. Let's see, this guy has 5 movement. Clear weather. They only get 2 hex per movement point, even on major roads, so that's not going to matter here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we could get them into either of those hexes. And these guys, 1, 2, either one as well. We really need to get this first SS headquarters headed up that way too then. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'd rather be up here. 5. Oops. Maybe even get a counterattack against these guys. We'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't do that because it's Zoc to Zoc. Or no, that's our unit. What am I talking about? So yeah, they can get there in 4. This one on top. Now, what can we bring up here? I think we get this guy. Where's the rest of our? We got a first SS unit. Is that a first SS? No, that's a 12th SS. Way over by Con. It doesn't really matter. They can support anybody, but thematically it would make more sense, I think, to keep them near their units. Let's see. We don't want to leave this too weak here because then the Allies will try to punch through, which they may be thinking about trying to do in this area here. It's probably our weakest part of the line up here. Can we get any of this stuff up there? Probably not. The bicycle units, I think they get their movement increased to 6 if they stay on roads, if I remember right. Yep, it is increased to 6, but it's only on overcast turns, so that's not going to apply. We could throw them on a truck and or use one of our strat moves. We got 3 of those available, plus our truck. So we could get them up to 10 theoretically, if that would help. Not sure it would. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. Oh, maybe they can. 7, 8. They can't go adjacent to an enemy unit though if they use strategic. I 'Cause 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 ' good place for this silhouetted unit where it could stack with something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get him to there. Maybe just leave him back in St. Lo for the time being. That way he could shoot off in several directions. Could 1, 2, 3, 4. These guys could get up into there. If we had, we're just gonna have to kind of slide stuff down the line, I think. So we have a bunch down here that we pulled out from the con area last turn that can kind of fill in some of these, so we can kind of just daisy chain some stuff down, I think. Let's see what that would look like. Problem is we start getting into these rivers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, they can't quite make it there. This is tough. Tough. I'd have to let that. I don't know if we can afford to pull that unit out from there, unfortunately. Let me give this a little think. Yeah, I think we're not going to be able to afford to do this, unfortunately. This guy was here, I believe. This guy's back here. What we can do is get him up closer, at least, to... We don't want to sit him there, though, because they can move into there and then attack that. We really need to get some more forces up in there, so I'm contemplating not doing this either and just trying to rush all these up this way to help reinforce up here next turn. So I think what we do is, let's see where we can get them to. Which of these is the fastest route? It's 1, 2, 3, 4.5 to there. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 to there. So it's quicker to come in from down here. So we strap move these guys up. So that's going to be 10 movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can get them to there. And then we throw this unit on a truck and do the same thing with him. Come on. Sorry, probably didn't see most of that. So the 10 movement points got them up to here, to that hard to pronounce place that the Allies are supposed to take this turn. And that means this one will just have 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He'll get to there. All right. I don't think we want to move anything along here other than maybe some shifting to make room for some of this stuff. Next turn, we're only getting 1 unit. It's just a little 2 strength, 3 movement infantry battalion, it looks like. It's going to come in down in that green area as well. So, what do we want to do with all this? I think I can only use tactical movement. So I guess we'll put him here. I think we need to try to, we're starting to risk some encirclement here around Caen, so I think we either need to pull these guys back into Caen itself or try to push these guys back. I'm looking at 3, 9, 15. They're in the clear, so they get no defensive bonus. So we need to get at least 15 factors on them. They're defense only, so let's see what we got here unit-wise. It's kind of a mishmash. Yeah, it's going to be tough to do. The other problem is with this clear weather, we'll be having to roll on the JBOS table for any attacks that we make. Where's that at? Yeah, here it is. So we could end up having up to 3 shifts left for any attacks that we make this turn. We've only got 7 there, so they need to be beefed up a little bit if possible. But I think they're at the stacking limit other than a silhouette. If they pull back into here, the city's going to give them 5, I think. Yeah. That's still only 12. These guys are only, well, they got that 10 under there, so they're 13. Plus they're in a town, so that's 17. But yeah, as long as it's over 10, then can't get better than 1-to-1. It just forces them to bring more to get to 1-to-1. Yeah, I'm thinking we need to pull back here to a more defensible position. Move these guys back to here, move them back to here. Second Panzer, where are they at? Probably all over the place. I've been doing a very good job of... Oh, also these get completed during this movement phase. Let's see, where are my second Panzer? One of them. That's 21st Infantry, which are here and here. Maybe we should try to get some of these back together. Well, they were together. We pulled them out because it didn't really make sense to have anti-tank in the city. But we might consider... They can get into there. They could move in and take these guys' place. So these guys could go 1, 2, 3. Basically just swap places. We should risk an attack there. They're in a town. So these guys are here now. They've moved. This one hasn't. Turn the place along here. We need anti-tank. They've got some already. We could put them in there just to bolster their strength. Even though they're not providing a shift or canceling a shift. Hate to get them too far away from the other 21st Division units. You know what, let's just move them up into here. Well, it kind of goes against what I said last turn about moving them out, since they're not really providing much of a benefit in the city, but all right. And this guy already moved, so he's there. All right, I don't think there's really any other movement we need to do as the Germans. Where should we build another strong point? Looks like we're good over here. Probably up in this area, huh? We're afraid of them breaking through. These guys can't start one because they're disrupted. But these guys certainly could. And these these guys could. Thinking maybe here, make it really hard for them to get across that spot there. Okay, that's all for movement. I don't know, I just don't think it makes sense to attack anywhere. Like I said, the only spot I was thinking about was maybe there, but we couldn't really bring enough strength against it. That makes this spot kind of problematic, though. Do we have room? No, we don't have room to get that guy in there. We're looking at, what, 4, 7, 8, 9. They're in the clear. So they could get a 2-to-1 against us without any shifts. Oh no, sorry. These guys are here too, so that's 10, so they can't get a 2-to-1 against us. But they only need 10 factors to get a 1-to-1. I don't know. We can't hold everywhere though. I guess if we moved, they're free stacking, they're free stacking. Oh wait, maybe we do. Yeah, that's right, because they're only at, oh, but these are 2 stacking points. So we'd have to move this guy out, which wouldn't be that terrible. We're just piling a bunch of armor there in there, though, then. Armor and anti-tank. Seems like there's some detriment to having only armor and no infantry, but I don't remember what it is at the moment. You know what, we'll just leave it. See what happens. All right. I think that's it then for the German turn. No reserve movement, no reserve combat, recovery. So these guys are no longer disrupted. This can come off. And these guys are no longer disrupted. That's it. Straighten everybody back up that moved. Okay. Then we have the supply phase. No supply issues anywhere that I see. Everybody can get 2 roads very easily. Still have this guy out of supply, but nothing really to do about that. There's no enemy unit next to it, so we don't have to roll for isolation attrition. Yeah, so I think that takes us to the Allied player turn. Let's get this turn marker flipped over to the Allied side and see what they're going to do. All right, first up for, excuse me, replacements. We've got 1 CW infantry replacement, and then we have 1 of each for the US. So let's see where the Commonwealth might want to use their infantry replacement. It can't be used on Canadian units, so they're out, and they're out. Could be used there. used on airborne either. There's a spot that could use one. It'd be a good idea if we decide to start trying to punch around this end over here. Toward the middle here, we've got this unit, this one, both of those actually. Neither of those. We've got one under here that's been reduced to cadre. Probably be best to get them back up out of the cadre status. Yeah, I think we'll do that. So this goes back to spot C, which means these guys come back out. And then they get a replacement marker. The 1 hex movement only affects them, I believe, but the no combat affects the entire stack. So move that up on top so we don't forget. All right, so that's the Commonwealth replacement. For the Americans, got an armor unit here. I could use it here. See if any of our big beefy ones need replacements. I don't think they do. Probably have that silhouette unit on top. That's an airborne under there, so they can't take one. So hiding under here, a little airborne cadre. Another airborne unit, a couple more airborne units, kind of holding things down here. So yeah, it looks like one of these two are going to be our candidate. Thinking maybe this one. Put a replacement marker on him. Spend that. And then we've got our infantry replacement. Don't really think we have. Might not have any. We need to take. So we need to start doing some more attacks with our American infantry. Yep, there was a. Oh, there's a big armor unit under there that took a hit. I wonder if we should give that to them instead. Takes them from a 2 to a 4. Takes them from a 5 to a 7. Yeah, I think we will. This one's taking the replacement. And we'll move him to the top. Yeah, I don't see any U.S. infantry that needs replacements, so we'll just save that. So then we go to the movement phase, which is also when we can get our reinforcements. So I was thinking we really need to make a breakthrough somewhere, so I'm thinking about spending some of our reinforcement points to get one or more additional supply points, so we can get some more shifts going on some of these attacks. So where do we want to try to break through at is the question. These guys are in the open, so that's probably a good spot. This will help us try to put some more pressure on Khan, force them to pull back before they get surrounded. Problem is, the way this is oriented, we can only attack from this one spot. Problem here is we're coming across a river. Minor river, I think, still has some sort of negative effect. Minor river, attacker halved, yeah. That's going to be rough there. Here, try to get around this flank. Got some airborne there that could give us a shift. No armor shift. And they're in a strong point. That's going to be tough. Or an improved position, I mean. Over here, I'm debating. They're kind of weak up here at the end of their flank, so we could try to capitalize and kind of open this all up in here, which they're going to have a hard time reacting to. And the other option is to try to punch through down here somewhere, maybe where they're trying to get this entrenchment done. But again, we're coming across a river, so we're going to be halved, but if we can get enough shifts in there, it's just beyond the naval bombardment zone, so we can't get any naval help. I think these are the only spots where we can still use the naval support. Yeah, I think it probably makes sense to try to bust this open at the top here. So I'm thinking we spend at least 3 of the Allies. Oops, knock this guy over. 3 of the Allies' reinforcement points to get another supply point. Let's do that. That leaves them with 3. We could bring in. The other thing I was looking at is as we start to stretch up here, we're really pushing the limits of our headquarters, because we got the one headquarters here, which is just barely in range of supporting down into here. We got this headquarters, which we'll need to sneak up here to be able to support that attack this turn. But we're starting to get to where we're going to have kind of a gap in the middle here, where it might be good to have another headquarters on to provide, to be able to cover that area. So I think we'll bring in the, what is this, the 19th Corps headquarters over here at Utah. Just put them there for now. And that leaves us with 1 more reinforcement point, so we can bring in either one of these tank battalions or this infantry battalion. Like another silhouetted tank unit probably wouldn't be bad. Actually, these are anti-tank units, not tank units. Well, these ones are. These are anti-tank. These are tank destroyers. They don't provide an armor shift, but they can prevent one. Yeah, let's bring in one of these little guys. Where do we want him to come in at? We can't bring... Yeah, we can bring them both in at the same beach because it's only 3 reinforcement points. So I think we probably want them over here. Coming in at Utah. So we'll do that for the U.S. reinforcements. For the Brits, I think we were working on bringing in the rest of these, right? Let me go ahead and finish that. So we'll bring this guy in over there. And this guy in over here. Because they can't come in at the same beach. I think it's 4 RPs worth is the limit per beach. Let's see. Yeah, no more than 4 RPs may be brought in through each beach. All right. Where are the other? I guess those don't have. They're their own division. I was gonna say where their division mates were, but they're their own division, so I need to worry about that. We'll just have to decide which way we want to send them. All right, so let's look at some movement here and decide where we want to try to attack. We do want to try to bust. I don't know. I'm still thinking we've been making some pretty good headway down in here. Maybe just continue that and try to keep bringing it around to encircle Khan. So if we were to try this here, we've got 3, 4, 8, 10. So we don't need to bring 10 to get to 1-to-1. The nice thing is they won't be able to stop a 2-hex retreat. So they'll have to retreat 2 hexes. Let's see what we want to bring in for that. We've got, these are both the same division, right? Yep. So we've got 15 we can bring. I'm thinking maybe we put some guys in reserve to be able to capitalize on that afterwards. We move them into there. And potentially allow them to at least push up into here. I mean, actually, they can get into there now, but then we wouldn't be able to put them in reserve. Or no, we can't. Sock bond. Yeah, so if we move them there, that will allow them to push up into there with reserve movement. I think the only restriction, I think they can only move 1 hex to be able to get a reserve movement marker. So if they've received a replacement, you can't. If they're out of supply, disrupted, or regrouped, they're in a follow-up box. Or if they moved via tactical movement. Oh yeah, they have to have only have spent 1 MP. That's the key there. Okay. So yeah, that's only going to cost 1 movement point to go into there. So we can push them up to here. And then we'll want to have, so if they're going to end up being there, we're probably going to want something in here so that we have a Zachbahn. So why don't we move these guys? Where's the rest of their divisions down here? Maybe we just push these guys up into there with some tank support. And let's do that. So they'll go into there. This guy will go 1, 2, 3, 4, also into there. We probably want to get our, that's the other thing too, with the, we got this core headquarters here too, right? So I think we're okay. Maybe push these guys up into here, just to get them a little closer to the front. Let's push these guys into here. All right. 50th, where's the rest of their buddies at? This was the 51st. There they are. Yep, there's one here too. Yeah, let's just push them in with them. Maybe we want to take a crack at these guys too. A couple of beefy guys here. What do they have? 8, 10 plus Bocage is 3, so I got 13. We got 14. And we'll push them up into there. Actually, we got 14 plus all of this too. Ugh. Come on. There we go. All right. So we're looking at an attack. My little dice go. So we're looking at doing attacks here and here. Let's see what else we want to move up. So these guys are under there. So let's get them up kind of nudged up behind there. This one, where did their, they had a silhouetted, unit that would have come on to, oh, they're right here, okay. That's some nice beefy armor there. We want to try to get them down in this area as well. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let's just leave them there, or maybe here, until we decide what we want to do with them. Then we got these units coming on. They just use tactical movement, so 1, 2, and 1, 2. Do them there. And then they would technically get a regroup marker, but they're not next to any enemy units, so I think we're fine there. All right, were we gonna try to do something over here? We need to bring some of this over, which means we need to adjust some of this. I don't think we're ready to do that quite yet. I think we need to wait. Maybe we should bring these guys in here, actually. And these guys would come in here and go 1, 2, like that. We'll get them over to help out over here. Try to get something going against that spot. Next turn, maybe. All right. That's it for the Commonwealth. Let's see that we're going to have, so the Commonwealth Navy is not really going to do anything. We do have 3 air shifts though and 2 artillery shifts. I feel like we should be doing more than just 2 attacks. I don't think attacking into a flooded hex has any effect, right? Yeah, the attacker does not have nor suffers a column shift when attacking into a flooded hex, only when attacking out of one. I could try to maybe do something here. They got 8 and they're in, what is it underneath there? Rough mixed. That's giving them 2. We've got 8, 10, 11. We would have their defense only. We would have 8, 9. So we need a couple more factors. Maybe we could shift some stuff around here. If we did, problem is if we bring them in, we'd have to get both of these out because that's 2 stacking points. That would give us our 11. So yeah, maybe we just do a shuffle back and forth here. I don't think the stacking limits are enforced until the end of movement. So that should be fine. Let's see, it was just that guy on the bottom, right? All right, so yeah, let's try and attack there as well. Might as well hit them where they don't have improved positions, right? Okay, for the U.S., let's start up here. Definitely want to get something going here. So we're going to move these guys up into there. We kind of need to get something here or there, I think. Let's see, these guys can make it up there, right? Across the causeway. I don't think there's any movement penalty for that, is there? Nope. So that's 1, 2. If we move into there, we'd have to stop. So 2.5, 3.5, I think. We can get these guys in there with them. These guys got 13. Invocage. Yeah, I think maybe these guys, yeah, they got 6. They should be fine. 1, 2, 3.5. 4.5. And this core, and they move 2, so they'll need to flip over. And then this one to there. We need to nudge this core up so that he's within 5 of there. I think it's range of 5 for those guys, right? Yep, range of 5, so I'll put them just in range there. Where else we might want to strike? We got down here 14, 16. I could make a stack of 16. This seems like a good spot to hit. So move them in here. Maybe both of these. Yeah, why not? Setting these on the one side for now because I'm pretty sure initial odds will be 1 to 1. All right, any other movement? Well, we need to move these guys up. Where do we want them to go? That's the 2nd Infantry Division. Where do we move those guys to? It's Big Red 1. Big Red 1. Oh, down here. So we want to try to get them moving that way. Is infantry? I can't remember now. Is it just one on the road? No, they still got half as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They can get to there. Okay. Do we need to move this? 4, 5. That's just barely in range, so we probably want to sneak them up a little bit as well. If we got 2 attacks there and 1 up there, that's probably about all we want to try this turn. We got to get some stuff happening because 3 turns from now we're going to have 3 storm turns, which are going to be pretty hard to make anything happen on those. So I wonder if we should try another attack somewhere. See, 3s. I forget. Is it 2 strength or less is 1 stacking point? Or is it 3? I think it's 2. Yep. So that's fully stacked, other than a silhouetted unit. Figure out if there's any place these cadres can go, but I don't think there really is. We really need some more silhouetted units up in here, I think, to be able to beef some of those stacks up. We've got 1 coming in. All right. I mean, I suppose we should try here just to keep them from getting that, huh? Well, they got 8. Plus the bocage is another 3, so that's 11. We're at only 9. But we could get a troop quality shift, and do we get armor shift across flooded hex side? No armor shift. Okay. So that would be a 1 to 2 attack. I'd have to spend some extra shifts to get that up, which we have some extra shifts. You know what? Let's give it a shot. It'd be really nice if we could get across those flooded hex sides. Oh, we're going to be halved too, aren't we? Flooded hex side, halved and a left shift. Ooh. So maybe not. That's going to put us down to the 1 to 3 column. Let's see what happens if you're below the 1 to 3. Attack. So yeah, maybe that's not such a good idea. Here though, and we've only got, we could get this guy over to here though, so we'd have 12, 15 on 12 plus 3, 15. That would be 1 to 1. Oh, but we're attacking out of a flooded hex. So we would be halved and left shift. So yeah, that's kind of nasty too. These flooded hexes are quite the pain. Maybe here we could do something. 4, 8. They're in a town. Another 4, so 12. We have 15, so that would be 1-to-1. Yeah, might as well. Advance into there. Let's see. Kind of leaves us kind of stretched thin along here, but let's see what happens. All right, I think that's it. So on to combat. Why don't we start over here with the Commonwealth. So here we have 11. And I think they had 11. Yes. Or sorry, 8, 9. Yeah, and then they're in the mixed for 11, right? Yep. Does Flood Hicks still give DCBs? Yeah, I don't see anything about that negating their defensive combat bonus. So it's going to be 1-to-1. Let's see, we've got three Commonwealth attacks we're making. Which one do we really want to? I think this is our key attack here. Oh, and I forgot. We want to mark those guys in reserve. Let's do that. These guys all straightened up. All right. So I think we'll want to do an air shift and an artillery shift here, which leaves, we have a total of 5 shifts. Yeah, I think this one I'm not as concerned about succeeding. It's more just kind of an attack of opportunity, because I don't think we're really going to be able to make anything much happen over here. So maybe we just spend an air shift for that. So we'll make it a 2-to-1. Nice. 2-to-1 6 is going to be an A1D1. They're pretty much going to have to take it on one of these armored. Oh, they had +1 troop quality. I don't think that matters for. Yeah, that's only the attacker gets a troop quality shift. That only matters for defending. Determined defense. It's one of their Tiger units, so I don't think they'll want to take it on that. So we'll take it here. And for us, fortunately, it's got to go on Canadians. Oops. Pretty tough to get replacements for. I think it's only on Clear 6, maybe. Or no. Yeah, Clear 6 or... Not sure what this means. CW. The LA player may take... Okay. So on Storm 1, Canadians get, or they get one that can be used for Canadians or infantry, or British, I mean. All right, so now, are they going to attempt a determined defense? They do have a +1 for troop quality. They could potentially get, if they wanted to spend their one and only shift. I'm not sure they want to use that here for that. So they could get a +1. They're in flooded. Cause an extra town. See, that's interesting. I guess I'm not sure now if they actually do get. Because it seems like flooded is treated as a separate terrain type. And if you look on the terrain effects chart for flooded hex, there's nothing listed for defensive combat bonuses. So I'm wondering if they actually shouldn't get that. You don't use the underlying terrain. I'm betting that's the case. So in actuality, I don't know if it changed anything. It just means that they were only 4, 8, 9 instead of 11. We still only had 11, so it's still just 1-to-1. So yeah, it didn't change the combat at all, but didn't mean we could have potentially gotten a 2-to-1, I guess. But that means they'd be on this one. Here's the thing, though. Well, I guess they could retreat. They'd have to retreat back this way. Because if they go this way, they'd have to retreat through. Oh, yeah, and plus these are armor. So I'm pretty sure they have to retreat along the road. I guess they could retreat this way. 2 hexes. Otherwise, they'd have to go. Well, they could cancel the 2-hex retreat by stopping in the town here. Either way, that leaves it kind of open there, but would the Allies want to move into there is the question. Because then they lose their defensive combat bonus, which right now they're in woods, which gives them 3. Yeah, I don't think they want to risk the determined defense, possibly having to take another step loss. Because best case scenario, if they use the lead unit TQ, because armor comparison, they wouldn't. Well, would they get something for that? I guess they could make the Tiger tank the lead unit, and then they would get a +1 for that because of the armor rating comparison. But you can only get one or the other. But the best they'd be looking at would be they'd have to roll a 5 or a 6 to cancel it. And only a 6 would prevent them from losing a step. Yeah, I'm thinking they just retreat into the town here. Oops. And we will not advance. All right, so just a little skirmish over there. All right, here's our big one that we really want to succeed. We're looking at 3, 4, 8, 10 in clear terrain, so no DCB. We have more than 10, so it starts at 1-to-1. There's no armor shift, there's no troop quality shift. We're going to use air to make it 2-to-1. We're going to use artillery to make it 3-to-1. We could potentially, I believe we can use 2 artillery shifts per combat. Yeah, Allied HQs can provide up to 2 shifts. That would only leave us with 1 shift for this attack down here, but I think it might be worth it. Yeah, let's do it. So that's going to make it 4-to-1. Oh, another 6. 4-to-1, 6 is a D1. I think they lose this guy. Because I believe then, even if they didn't, I think they could have. I think they might be able to. Oh, no. I was trying to see if they could just do a 1-hex retreat by retreating into a friendly unit, which I think that's allowed, but I don't know if all these will fit there. This is free stacking, I believe. Yeah, they're free stacking. But we're still going to have 2 stacking points, 2 stacking points, and this would be our free stacking unit then, or whichever way we did it. These are each 2 stacking points, and then 1 can stack for free. Yeah, I think we lose this guy. And then so for 1-hex retreat, I mean, I guess they could theoretically attempt to determine defense there, but it would be in other. It'd be in clear, so it's the same as flooded. So same situation there. If we spent the artillery point, because I get nothing else, right? Yeah. We spent the artillery point, they'd get a +1, but they'd have to roll a 5 or 6 to cancel it, and two of the 6 possible rolls, they would end up losing a step. But 2 of the 6 possible rolls, we would also lose a step. So, oh no. I guess some of that's going to depend on if that 1-hex retreat is allowed there. Double check that. 1-hex retreats. If it retreats in a city, town, woods, or bocage, or a hex that contains a strong point or improved position, a hex that contains non-disrupted friendly units not using strategic movement can also stop a 2-hex retreat. Oh, but the combat strength they may stop is limited to the combat strength of non-disrupted units in the hex. So they could only stop 4 strength worth. So they could only stop this one or these 2. And then we've got a major river in play here too, so if they did retreat, I think they are allowed to retreat as long as it's the first hex of the movement, so they could theoretically retreat this way. I don't know, I'm thinking it's worth trying to hold there, so let's... where were they? Yeah, that was from... They moved there earlier in the turn. Yeah, we're going to try a determined defense. We'll spend our artillery point for that. Coming from Fortress Cherbourg, which it can trace around to there. Using, I guess we have to have a headquarters that can do that, right? Well, they're within 2 hexes of Con. So I think that's not actually part of Con. These 4 hexes are. So yeah, they can get it from there. All right, so determined defense with a +1. It fails. So they're gonna have to retreat 2 hexes. Up to 4 strength points could stop there if we want them to. And then, yeah, for the major river, let's make sure. So they incur a step loss if retreating across an unbridged major river if it did not start adjacent to the major river. All units, including mechanized, may retreat across the major river if they start the retreat adjacent to the river hex side, so that's fine. So, actually I wonder maybe... If they go all the way back to here, that really leaves this open for exploitation. So they could potentially move. They can move into here, and then I think since they entered the defender's hex, they can do a Zok to Zok. Oh, but they can't. I don't think we can advance. We got to check about the advance rules across major rivers as well. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, we can only cross an unbridged major river with the first hex of advance. So basically, we can move into there. I mean, we could go there if we wanted to, too, but we're there. But we're planning on moving these guys here during reserve movement. So, yeah, I think these guys just advance into here. So knowing that, as the Germans... I mean, basically, we could end up... We could retreat back to here too, I guess. We could end up here, we could end up here, we could end up here. could end up here, or we could end up here, or some could end here. You know, or obviously we could go back this way too, or here. I don't think any of these options are good. So I'm thinking if we get up in here, that makes it tougher for them to encircle. I think maybe that's what we do. So they'll retreat to there. That means we can advance into here, and then these guys will move into there during reserve movement. We'll put a little more pressure on Khan there. All right, going over to here, final Commonwealth attack. We just have the one air shift left, so they've got 8, 10, plus 3 is 13. And we have, I mean, if we attack with both of these stacks, we got way more than that. So 1 to 1, and then 2 to 1 with our final air shift. Would be nice, or 5 even. 3, 2 to 1, 3 is an exchange. Okay, well, we're not going to get to advance, unfortunately. At least we're hitting them with some stuff. Yeah, we wouldn't have had, even with elite troops, we wouldn't have had a troop quality shift and no armor shift, so. All right, well, it looks like they'll probably take it on the airborne. I don't think they have the same restrictions for not being able to replace their airborne troops. For us, actually in exchange, the opponent gets to pick, right? Yes. Ugh. I think the Germans are probably going to definitely pick this big armor unit. And we want to maybe just get rid of this guy. Instead of flipping this one, I think we do. So we'll eliminate this. All right, so that's it for the British, for the Commonwealth combats. All right, why don't we start up here with the big boy. So they have 5, and they're in woods, which gives them another 3. So they have 8. We definitely have at least 16. So it's going to start off 2 to 1. So I was wrong about them all being 1 to 1 initially. We can use naval here, so we'll do that. To make it 3. We'll use air support for 4. And do we want to push it to 5? Would have a chance of getting an A1D2, which means they would have to retreat 4 hexes. Well, that reminds me. These guys should be disrupted. And these guys should be disrupted, but not the headquarters. All right. Yeah, you know what? We got all these extra shifts. Why not? Let's push it to 5-to-1. So 5-to-1. Oh, 6. We got it. An A1D2. Wow. That's going to really cripple them. And then who chooses the losses on that? A1D2. Step losses are selected by the opposing player. Is this the one? This might have been the one where it's a bit inaccurate. Let me check that. I made some notations in my rule book for these. Yeah, it's yeah, the only note I made was all step losses are selected by the opposing player. I know there was a question that came up about this recently on Board Game Geek because of some changes that were made to the A1D2 results between the different editions or the different printings. Yeah, what I have is that all step losses are selected by the opposing player. So we are going to choose that, oh, wait a minute, or no, I was just going to say, should we have had an armor shift too, but I don't think you can get armor shift in woods. No armor shift. With a little footnote of tiger tanks do get a shift. Okay. And there was, actually we could have had, I forgot to designate I forgot to do this on all these attacks. Designate my main assault force, which would have been probably 2nd Armored Division. So that would have been 11. These guys would be attached, so 14. And then these guys contribute half. So yeah, it was still well over 2-to-1. But that means we actually should have had another shift for troop quality. No, they had a +1 also, so never mind. So we didn't get a troop quality shift. So well, we're definitely choosing that one, and these guys are the same, so it'll be those two that take the losses. These, and then for us, we have to lose 1 step, and they get to pick it. Thinking, would they pick this or would they pick the airborne unit? Probably the airborne unit, because that's going to knock them down to cadre. So they'll go over here, be replaced with cadre D on the airborne side. And they have to retreat 4 hexes. for. Looks like they got to go all the way back inside the perimeter. Unless they want to go up here. Just put them there, stack with those guys. And when we get to advance, anything special with our advance? So they become disrupted, obviously. Can advance after combat or place attacking units in reserve. I think we'll just advance. There's not really anyone else up there to attack. I guess these guys could come around and attack this unit. And some may advance and some may be placed in reserve, so I'm thinking these guys push up to here. And yeah, let's go ahead and put these guys in reserve. We'll have them swing around and try to take that guy out. All right, that was very successful. Finally getting some good results here over in the Utah Beach area. We've been kind of stymied over there for a while. All right, here, what do we got left for shifts? We got a naval, which we can't use. Oh, actually, we will be able to use it for this. Nice. Okay. But for this attack, we've got 2 air shifts and 2 artillery shifts left. We've got 3 more attacks left. I think we want to... So basically, we can do 2 shifts on one combat and 1 shift on the other 2. I think I'm thinking we want our 2 shifts to be on one of these down here. Since we've been kind of focused on driving south over here, I don't think we're really prepared to push west over here very much yet. So let's see. Well, knowing that, we know we're only going to give 1 shift over here, so we'll just give them an air shift. Go ahead and get this one out of the way. So just to confirm here, we got no armor shift, no troop quality bonus, so they're at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they're in a town for another 4. So that's 12. And then we have, this is the MAF with them attached, so everyone's full strength, we have 15. So it's 1-to-1, 2-to-1 with the air shift. And 2-to-1, 2 is an A1DR. All right, so, sorry, that's over here. I think since we have some extra infantry replacements, we'll definitely take that on the infantry. And then they have to retreat or attempt a determined defense. They're in a town, which is other. They got no shifts available. So they have to roll a 5 or a 6 to cancel it. Either way, they're losing a step. I don't know. I think we just cede that ground. Maybe. So they can do it 1x retreat because this is all bocage. I'm thinking probably here. Yeah, because that would form a Zoc bond with this impassable hex side, I do believe. Yeah, I'd say we just retreat to there. They become disrupted. That guy that retreated up into the Cherbourg perimeter should be disrupted. And we will advance into Santony, something like that. Okay. Now down here, which of these would we rather give, oops, 2 shifts to? Thinking probably for the town, right? So here we've got 4, 6, 4 for the town makes 10. We have this, okay, so we have to make, this is fine. We make the 3rd Armored Division the main assault force. This unit is attached, so they're still full strength. So we've got 14, 16 against, what did I say, 10? Yeah, so 1 to 1, 2 to 1, 3 to 1 with an air shift and an artillery shift coming from, let's make sure we have a headquarters in range. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming from 5th Corps headquarters. All right, so 3 to 1. 3 is a DR. They could get a +1. That's a cadre unit. Oh boy. I mean, is it really that bad to give that town up? Probably not. We'd risk losing this cadre. They're really kind of hurting there. All right, so disrupted there. And we can move in. And then this one was our final attack. I believe it's initially 1 to 1. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Big Red 1 main assault force with these guys attached, so all full strength. 14, 17 against 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 1 to 1. Artillery shift from 5th Corps again. Makes it 2 to 1. Ooh, 2 to 1, 1 is an A1. Not so good. We will lose one of these. Or should we just take it on the tank? Yeah, you know what? Let's leave those guys full strength. Let's take it on the tank unit. All right. I believe that's going to do it for regular combat. Oops. Now we go to reserve movement. by reserve combat. I'm only going to be removing one hex anyway, but I just want to double check. I think you're limited to tactical movement during the reserve movement phase. Use tactical movement or half their MA. And you have to reduce the MA of German units in clear weather by 2 before halving. Yeah, so oops. So yeah, like technically these guys would have 3 movement points, so they could potentially move further, but we're just going to have them move into here. And I guess theoretically they could attack too, huh? Got in here 7 plus they're in a 7, 8 plus they're in a city, which I think is 5. So 13. We have 9, 13, but it's across a minor river, which would have us, so no, we're not doing that. Then up here, now these guys could potentially have 3. Well, these 2 at least could move 3 movement points if we wanted them to, so they could like go 1, 2, 3. That's interesting. Rather than just moving into there. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. So 1, 2, actually it's 1, 2 and a half. This guy will don't really want to put him in harm's way. Is there room in here for him? No. Maybe we just leave him there for the time being. All right, so then we've got an 11 on, that's a city, I believe. Yeah, big letters. So 11 on 9. So 1 to 1. It's in the naval bombardment zone, so we can go to 2 to 1. And let's hope for a big roll. 6. 2 to 1, 6 is an A1D1, and I don't like taking the hit on my guys, but let's put this one on top actually. They take a hit, and then they could attempt determined defense, but would be at a -1. They are in a city though, so but there's like a 50-50 chance that they'll eliminate themselves, so probably not wise. They could do a 1 hex retreat. I don't think there's room. I don't think they can retreat. Maybe they can if there's other units there. But I don't know that there's room here for them. Let's do, oh, there actually is. Yeah, let's see if that's allowed. Yeah, it says units that retreat 1 hex may not end their retreat in an EZOC unless a friendly non-disrupted unit was already in the hex. Units that must retreat can never stop after 1 hex. And they show an example here. Unit Y can stop after 1 hex as shown because hex D is bocage and is not as an EZOC, and E contains an improved position. Yeah, so it looks like that's allowed. So they will retreat into here and be disrupted. So put them on the bottom. Okay, but I've still got a big mess to deal with up here, and we have not, to check, I don't remember what the, I think we have to move within 2 hexes of these units to release them. We'll have to check that out next turn. Yeah, so I think that's it for that. Then we go to the supply phase. None of our units have supply issues that I see. These guys are all good. They can come back to these roads here and make it back to a beach. So, yeah. Get rid of that. And that. All right. No isolation attrition, no IPs alone in hex. So next would be conduct any desired airborne withdrawals and check for automatic victory. Now the, who was it, the 101st? I think they're down to either all cadre or only one left that's not cadre, so we may start thinking about withdrawing them soon. I'll have to see. I thought there was one more 101st out there somewhere. I can't remember if there was 3 or 4. Yeah, there's one there. Okay. So not quite yet. But they'll probably be withdrawing at some point in the near future. All right, and then we'll advance the turn marker to turn 12, which historically is when the peninsula was cut. Doesn't look like we're going to quite accomplish that, but we've made a pretty nice breakthrough on their northern flank here. So hopefully they'll have to scramble to try to close that off somehow, which is going to weaken their position along here, I think. Well, they do have this giant, well, it's not that giant, it's a strat move marker and a truck marker, but they've got another strat move. So they got a couple units moving up there. This one, they might try to swing this guy up to help out, maybe backfill with some of those units moving up. But anyway, that's going to conclude things. Where'd my box go? There we are. That's going to wrap things up for this episode of Normandy 44. Thanks everyone for watching. Sorry for the glare coming in through the window there. Be sure to like the video if you like what you see. Share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to get notified when I post new videos. I know it's been kind of hit or miss here lately. I just got back from Origins into last week, so I had to take a little break there. But I'm going to try to get back into doing these a little more regularly, and hopefully we can get this knocked out and onto something else. All right, so thank you all for watching. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.